Hi, Sagittarius. So this is your mid-September reading from the second half, 15th through the 30th. If I can spit those words out. Blah, blah, blah. I have some different cards than I normally use. I'm going to use the John Holland Heart Tarot cards. I have some new Mixed Emotions cards that I'm going to use and see what the second half of September is going to look like. I watch Luna Ash a lot on YouTube, and there is a whole week, like the 23rd through the 27th of September, that several people have called for something big and significant is going on. And I want to see if the cards bring that up and help you guys navigate with whatever is going on, because the energies are moving fast. Luna Ash says that basically every day lately is like having a full moon energy around all of us. So a lot of you could be feeling tired and cranky and not sleeping, and whatever all is going on with you, it's showing up in the views. Gemini, I don't know what was going on with Gemini. Man, they had a crap ton of views, and usually when people are online looking, something's going on and they're looking for answers. So hopefully I can give you some of those. All right, Sag, I need some cards for the overall energy for the second half of September. What do you got for me? There's one. The Nine of Wands. Stubborn cards, just like the Geminis. There's one. Okay. Some sort of an end of a cycle. The Death card came out. Although 9 is a month of completion, so that is... Whoa, there went one. Oh. Let's do that one. One more, please. Since September is a 9-month and a month of completion, that makes sense the Death card would come up. Well, I really would like them not to be flying on the floor, but there's that. Okay, so the Nine of Wands is the first card. If you can see that, he's standing there. He's still got some of those thoughts, but he's starting to let them go. So whatever has been bothering you, that portion of it is almost over. You do look a little battered and bruised, so it's been a rough month or two, or summer, or whatever is going on, but thankfully it is the end of a cycle, and so whatever negative crap that has been going on is about to come to an end. And aren't we always glad when that is happening? So I feel like it has had to do with some money issues. You've been a little tight on money. Something's been going on, because it shows, I feel like when I see this card, it always makes me think the guy is looking at that piece of paper and he's looking at his budget. It always makes me think he's looking over his money and he's looking at it and thinking there's just not enough to go around. So if that is the case, I don't know how much you guys know about manifesting, but that is one of the things that you can do, is basically ask the universe for some help with your money situation. And there's a book out there that I read a long time ago, Joe Vitale's Attractor Factor. And one of the things that he said was that ask the universe for some unexpected money. Because we as limited human beings have in our thoughts that, okay, I'm going to make this from my paycheck and that's not enough to pay blah, blah, blah. Or I have this money coming or this money coming and these two things together are not enough to pay the car payment or whatever needs to be paid. The universe can bring you money however they want. You just need to ask them. So open that up, ask them for some unexpected money, and let them bring it to you however they so desire. I've done that before. I do pet sitting and house sitting. And so I could be sitting here one day with absolutely nothing lined up for, I got blurry all of a sudden, sorry. With nothing lined up for the next 2 or 3 months, and I could get a call and someone needs a last minute sitter for the weekend or something, and that's some unexpected money that I wasn't planning on. Last Friday I got a call from a friend of mine, and she said, can you do a lunchtime reading? And I was like, sure. So I made money that day and I was not expecting it. So there are ways that money can be brought to you, and it doesn't have to be how your small mind lets it come to you. So open and expand to let the universe bring it however it wants to do that too. For those of you who are feeling tight on your budget. So the next one says it's the Seven of Wands. Still fighting a lot of negative thoughts. You know, if you could change that thought pattern, you know, God, I was always a big fan of Wayne Dyer. Change your thoughts, change your life. So I would suggest getting some of his work, or Esther and Jerry Hicks, Asking It Is Given, the Joe Vitale Attractor Factor, or any of his work. And negative thought processes tend to be the biggest thing that stops us from either moving into the life that we desire, because we have this little voice in the back of our head saying, you can't do that. Who are you to do that? What makes you think you're so special, or anything like that? And all basically all you're doing is carrying on the negative stuff that your parents gave you when you were younger. I know parents really try to protect their kids and they don't want to see them get hurt. Unfortunately, a lot of times what happens is they just end up making you think that it can't be done. They don't mean to burst your bubble, but they are not always as supportive as they could be. Because they have fear, and that ends up coming out to the kids. So you need to stop those negative recordings that you heard when you were younger, and now you've just, as an adult, you've carried those forwards and you're still repeating those in your head. And it does take practice to get over that, Six of Cups. I also think this means that there could be some new love or new beginnings happening at the end of the month. I look at that and I see a little boy giving flowers to a little girl. That to me is an immature love. So somebody meeting somebody new. Or it also feels like it's somebody from the past. Because those are kids, it feels like that there might be somebody coming in from the past that is coming to you in the love department. Perhaps it's somebody you have dated in the past. Perhaps it is somebody that you went to school with. You're reconnecting on Facebook or something like that. That's kind of where that feels to me. Actually, let's do these mixed emotion cards next and see if we can figure out these thoughts and the whole emotions and everything that might be. There's one causing somebody's depressed. And if it's the end of something, that can sometimes be depressing, especially if you didn't want it. And even if you did want it, sometimes there is a loss that goes along with that. Maybe you're leaving a job, and even though it's the best thing for you, it could cause a little depression in you because you're you know, you're going to miss the place, but you know in your heart moving forward is the best thing that could happen to you. Or maybe a relationship has ended and you're going to be sad about leaving that person, or, you know, maybe they dumped you or whatever. But whatever the case is, that there's a little depression going on the second half of September for some of you Sagittarius. There. Sad, yeah, sad, depressed and sad, unhappy, joyless, dejected. Gosh, guys, disgusted. What's going on? Revolted, nauseated, repelled. Okay, something has happened that has put you guys in a bad mood. But hopefully by the very, very end of the month, you're going to feel a little bit comforted. And I feel like it's only going to be short-lived, you know, maybe a week or so, that you're going to sit around feeling sorry for yourself and depressed and sad. And eventually that longing and yearning is going to be done and over with. Oh, that popped out. But you're going to be relieved by, you know, once the depression and the sadness gets over with, you're going to be feeling better and feeling more relieved. Ooh. So, reassured, soothed, and at ease. But I do know that while you're going through that, it can, you know, it's hard. You just kind of have to let the feelings come in and go out, and not beat yourself up. Call out to your friends, ask them for help, you know, have them come over and hang out with you, watch a movie with you. I know you may not feel like going out right now, but being around your friends is probably one of the best things that you can do, so you don't spiral out of control into a negative, you know, too far negative, and get yourself too far into a bad position. I kind of used to do that when I was younger, and I sold real estate for a long, long time, and my emotions were up and down and up and down and up and down, just like the real estate business was. And I would be on cloud nine, and then I would get all my stuff closed, and then I would start getting worried because I didn't know when my next closing was going to be, and I would be like, I just need a day to take a break because I've been really busy, and then one day turned into two, and then two into three, and so I could sink down into some bad situations, and I had to really, really keep a close eye on that and make sure, after having that happen several times, I finally learned, you know, kind of like when you feel like you're starting to get physically sick, if you can, you know, hit it early on before it spirals out of control. I do that with my oils. If I start feeling like I'm coming under the weather, I'll start my oils before it spirals out of control and I end up in bed for a week. The same thing can be done with your emotions. You know, if you feel like you're starting to get depressed, go for a walk, call a friend, do something, and don't keep those negative vibrations down too long. It's interesting. I just was talking about manifesting, and that card came up on the Heart Tarot. Manifesting is one of my favorite things in the world to talk about. Like I said, Joe Vitale, Esther and Jerry Hicks, Asking It Is Given. I have studied manifesting since 2004. I have had some amazing things happen when you practice what you need to do. I have a manifesting journal that I work in almost every day. And I also have a crystal that I place on top of it, a blue apatite. It's supposed to be good for helping manifest. So there are things that you can do when you feel stuck and things aren't going your way. But it's just like going to the gym. If you don't do anything, you're not going to get in shape. I mean, you physically have to work at stuff. The throat chakra came out on that. So let's see what else is. Okay, all right. I like this one. What did I say? Get up and move. go for a walk. If you feel like you're getting in a funk or whatever, walking, exercising, anything like that is going to raise your vibration. I can remember when I first started studying that whole thing. So let's say, like, normally if I would get depressed, I used to be able to count in my head, or I could assign a number to how I was feeling. 10 being I was in a really, really good mood, and 1 being I didn't feel good and I wanted to stay in bed all day. So I used to make myself go for a walk until I could say that my vibration was at a 7. So if you can imagine this, like when you first start walking, you're like at a 1 or a 2, and then you might do 15 minutes and you feel a little bit better because you're proud of yourself. And so you might be able to assign yourself to a 3, 3.5. And I would walk or do whatever until I could assign a 7, at least a 7 in my vibrations for that day. And so that was something that, I literally had to work at, but it helped pull me out of a funk if I felt like I was going into one. And trust me, when you sell real estate, you cannot afford to go in a funk very often because it is detrimental to your income and bill paying and all of that stuff. So, it was necessary for me to keep my mind engaged and, not lay around and be depressed like I wanted to be sometimes. So throat chakra came up, which just, that has to do with speaking whatever's bothering you. So if something's bothering you, say it out loud to somebody, whoever it is. We already talked about the move, get up and move. You're looking for some joy and stability, and doing the manifesting stuff that I'm talking about is going to move you in that direction. The next one that came out was Opportunity Beckons. So if you guys are, messing around with a job or whatever, it looks like a new opportunity is going to be coming along that's going to be very fruitful, and also some healing is going to take place by the end of September. So whether that is mentally and emotionally, I feel like in this case it's more mental and emotional. It could be physical, but it feels like it's mental and emotional healing that's going to come along with that. I'm going to do your Work Your Light Oracle cards. I always like these. These kind of are messages from your guides, from the universe, from your higher self, your oversoul, past loved ones who have passed on. I feel like they kind of an overview and any last minute words that anybody wants to say. Inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. I think that probably means some of you need to work on your heart chakra. Oh my God, and there's the crumbling again. That came out in the Gemini reading. That comes out 75% of the time when I do these cards. It says, what are you clinging on to? So usually depression comes, a lot of times it comes from clinging on to an ideal that you thought things were supposed to be a different way. And because they're not the way you expected them, it kind of keeps you in a rut. So, and a lot of times maybe it has to do with you're in a job that you feel like you have to be in. This is what you went to school for, and that's not what you want to be in. So, letting go of this perfect little picture that you had in your life or in your head, and, letting go of that. That's the only thing I can think of right now. So, one more of these. Let's see what that one says. Soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. I think I mentioned somewhere along here, call your friends to have them go for a walk with you. Call your friends when you're feeling down and depressed. Have them come over, watch a movie with you. Don't spend so much time by yourself when you are in a bad place, because that tends to make things worse. And that's when the dark thoughts can take off and go off in a rampage, and it's really hard to get yourself back when you do that. So you kind of have to stop them and let your friends and family and your soul tribe help you with that. So I hope you find that helpful. I think that's it for now. Again, that is the Sagittarius second half of September, and I look forward to seeing you the first part of October. And like, subscribe, share, send me a message. I'd like to hear from you, and I hope you guys have a great month. Thanks. Bye.